Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Boat Dealer Profits podcast. I am your host, Matt Selhorst, the founder of Boat Dealer Profits, author of the book Boat Dealer Profits, and we are committed to helping family-owned dealerships sell more boats, make more money, and have more fun. Today, I'm really excited. We've got our second guest. This is the second time he's been on the program. I'm really excited to have him back. Merrill Shaw from Dealer Profit Services. I always get that confused with my name. So Dealer Profit Services, he specializes in the F&I part of the dealership program. It's such a tremendous opportunity in most dealerships. Money that's left on the table, profit left on the table. And I'm really excited because Meryl's got some new things going on that I think are going to make a tremendous impact. He is the COO of Dealer Profit Services. You've likely seen him speak at MDCE. You maybe have even seen him in one of your 20 group meetings where he is sharing his insights and knowledge. He's heavily involved with the MRAA educational program and is a great resource for the industry as a whole. And I'm really excited to have him back on the program here. Merrill, welcome back.
Well, thanks, Matt. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you. I love getting out and helping dealers make a little bit more money. It's always fun to see that happen.
Yeah, I like the fact that that when you look at the names of the companies, Dealer Profit Services and Boat Dealer Profits, that we have the right goal for a vendor. You know, it's not about
we absolutely have a common goal here, and so I think it's terrific.
Yeah, it's to me that's the only reason to be in the game is if you're going to help your clients make more money in our type of position, that's got to be the focus, and so I think that's a lot of fun. So tell me a little bit about what's going on with you. You've got some new stuff, and in a new opportunity that we'll talk about, and then we'll get into some of the business side of things.
Yeah, so Dealer Profit Services is a reasonably new organization, but with a ton of industry experience. Between the team members here, we've got well over 50 years of F&I, marine F&I experience. We actually started the company in response to an immediate need by a four-store dealer group, but immediately recognized that there were ways to expand to help dealers across the country, and to really help everybody. And frankly, I mean, I think people may know me from my years at First Approval Source, and a lot of good things happened at First Approval Source. A lot of things that we learned there that we've found ways to improve on and really offer even more profit opportunity and more efficiency opportunity and more process opportunity. And we're bringing those all to the market and all to serve dealers in a whole variety of ways.
Yeah, there's a couple things which we'll get into throughout our conversation that I think are big needs within the industry as it relates to the technology you have and how you can fit into current processes and add to people that don't have any of those F&I processes in place. But let's start with the big opportunity as it relates to F&I as you see it. You're involved in the training at MRAA. You are going to have a big presence down at Dealer Week coming up. When is that? December? I've got it on my calendar somewhere. December 12th.
It's the second week of December.
Yeah. So tell me where you see the opportunity for most family-owned dealerships in the industry as it relates to F&I.
Well, I think there's from our perspective, I think there's two big areas. Well, and maybe overarching, there's a third kind of area. I think and I'll start with number three, because really it's what you should think about first. In my experience, a lot of people are a little bit unclear as to how to even target or measure the success of their F&I if they're doing it at all. And frankly, we see a number of dealers who are quite content to tell their customers, go to your local bank, go to your local credit union, arrange some financing, and come back when you're ready to actually go ahead and buy the boat.
Yeah. Well, it's easier, right? For that dealer, it's easier. You don't have to try to step on your sale to get the financing money.
Well, that's what they think.
Exactly.
But there's some interesting statistics around that, and the big statistic is that especially if someone has been in your store and they've looked around a little bit, and then you tell them to go out and arrange their financing, they only come back to your store 45% of the time.
Really?
55% of those customers, once they've arranged financing and realize what they can get, they go someplace else and buy something. So what you want to be doing is, from the second a person comes to your website or sees an ad, they know that you have easy, competitive financing available. That needs to be a message that you're shouting from the mountaintops. We can take care. We're a one-stop shop. We can take care of all of your finance needs, and we'll make it easy, and it's going to be highly competitive. So that you don't want those customers to walk away and figure out that, gee, now that I've got $30,000 that I can spend, maybe I'll go spend it over there instead of back where I was.
Right.
So you want to be able to take that customer soup to nuts. Now, recognizing that the pace of buying a boat is a lot different than the pace of buying a car. When somebody walks in to buy a car, they're expecting that they're going to walk in, they're going to get tortured for 3 hours, and then they're going to leave with a car.
Yeah.
When people are buying a boat, the whole attitude, the whole process is different, because they're not buying a boat, they're buying a lifestyle. So the whole set of attitudes is different. And while we do, and we see people come in, earlier in the day and leave with a boat that same day, on average, it takes, from the time somebody first comes in and maybe fills out a credit application to the time they're actually leaving with the boat, it's a 3 to 4 day process. And so, there's much more of a relationship being built. It's just a whole different set of conversations. But in the course of all of that, you need to be able to address all of their finance needs. And that comes, and there's a lot of interesting technology things that we can do, and that frankly anybody could do if they were committed to it. We have the efficiencies of scale on our side, but it starts with the fact that when you pull somebody's credit, you don't want to have to wait necessarily to hear back from a bank to know how they're going to do. You don't want to have to take the energy to submit the credit application and then wait for a bank to respond.
Yeah.
So to that end, there's a couple of things that we offer. One is a technology that we refer to as Rapid Ring. And we know what the key indicators are the second a credit report comes in. We can plug those in and know that customer is going to get approved and they're going to contract, that they might get approved, but they're probably not going to contract, or it's time to look for a co-applicant because this one's going nowhere.
Yeah, I've been sitting at the desk with clients, and you got the momentum of the sale in your favor. You get them locked in with their deposit, and you get oh man, that's the perfect boat. It's got the perfect color. It's all the options I want and need. You fill out that credit app, and you say, well, we'll talk to you tomorrow and see if you can buy this or not. You know, you're right.
Yeah,
it does.
exactly.
It totally deflates the excitement and just everything that you've got going on.
It absolutely does. And then and the other thing that we offer as a tool on a dealer website is what's called the Get Pre-Qualified. And we put banners and we put ads, and it's as simple as having a customer fill out a name, address, phone number, and email address, and instantly they're going to get a message back that says, hopefully, congratulations, you're pre-qualified. And they can, if they're sitting at home, they can print that out, and that pre-qualificational printout is going to have your dealership name on it, so that you're not pre-qualified at the guy down the street. If you're a tracker store, you're not qualified at Bass Pro Shops. You're qualified at my store. But it gives them that knowledge, and it automatically generates a lead, so a salesperson can start following up with that customer before they've ever walked into the store. So that's just a fantastic tool. Plus, for us, that also does generate a full credit report, so that we can look at. Now, it doesn't work. That's not what you can submit to a lender, but it does give you all the information. And there's no impact on the customer's credit. Everybody worries about having their credit pulled too often, which is sort of a semi-fictitious worry.
Right.
But from a soft credit pull, which is what this is, there's no impact at all, period. So it's a great tool. It's a great way to hook the customer. It's a great way to get them, to come into your store, because now they've been on the website, they've looked around, they've seen something they like, and now they know theoretically they're pre-qualified. Now, that doesn't mean everybody who's pre-qualified ultimately will qualify, but from our perspective, it's a lot better from a business perspective to have to apologize and explain later than to turn somebody off at the beginning and have them not come in at all.
Right. And so what's the percentage? Like, if you pass the pre-qual, are you 90% likely to get a
80. Well, yeah. So there's two different elements that I think get commingled in the minds of a lot of our dealers. One is, are you going to get approved? And if you pass the pre-qual, then 80 to 90% of the time you truly are going to get an approval. Now, the other part of that, though, is that some of the approval terms start to be what I would call a little less than desirable. I mean, we see.
So you have to put 10 grand down on a $12,000 boat, something like that.
well, yeah. I mean, it's not usually that. It's not usually that direction. What it is, though, is that you're approved at 17.95%.
Okay, sure, gotcha.
So now. And our job is to get people approved, get them to be happy and do what they're going to do. But in my position, when I see somebody at 17.95, even in my mind, I have to ask myself, I understand you're buying a lifestyle and I understand all those things, but even I don't know that you actually need a boat bad enough to be paying 17.95 for the next 10 years.
I'll tell you, Merrill, I had a client that bought a boat at that rate. And I said to him, here's where you're at. You've got to put this amount down. I think it was 25%. Here's where you're at. This will be your rate. And they said, we got it. We want the boat. And the reason we want to do it is because we know that stuff happened in the past. We know in a year we're going to refinance it and we'll have this money that we can take care of it. It's only going to cost us an extra $1,000 for the year. With that rate. And sure enough, that next year they came to me and they said, hey, we took care of that, and they actually started looking at another boat. So
I know that
you can't discount it.
No, you can't. I know that happens. So like I said, our job is not to make judgments. Our job is to get people financed. Happy
here's your option. Would you like it? Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is really, when you've got your F&I department up and running, what are your targets for that department? How do you even set targets? And when you're selling extended warranties, and you'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't at this point, but I was in my earlier days in this industry. There are dealers who push back and say, we just don't believe in the extended warranties. We don't believe in these protective products, so we're not going to sell them. We're not going to offer them. And I'm here to tell you, those protective products, the extended warranties, the interior exterior protection, the tire and road hazard stuff, those are important products. And it goes back to the fact that you've got to believe, and if you're a family-owned boat dealership, I know you do believe that this is a lifestyle choice you're making. And these warranties and protective products are there to protect the lifestyle. That, you don't want to have to be worrying about, I broke down in the water, well, how am I going to get done? I mean, you want to have a tow. You want to get that done. You want to get your engine fixed. If you get a rip in the seat or a stain on the carpet, you want to get it taken care of. You don't want to be worried about that stuff. And these products, they do that, and they're well worth the price. And then, but beyond that, they're also highly profitable for the dealership. We think that you should be selling one or more of those products on somewhere between 60 and 70% of all of your sales in a store. And if you're doing that, what you're going to see, and this only applies to the finance side of things, you're going to see F&I profits of 7.5% to 10% of the amount financed. So that means that if you're financing a $30,000 boat, you're going to see between $2,500 and $3,000 of profit. And even if it costs you 30% to run your F&I department, you're taking a couple of $1,000s right to the bottom line by doing the right job in F&I.
Yeah, and servicing your clients better that want it.
That's right. You're servicing the clients better. You're protecting their lifestyle. By financing, you're helping them with their cash flow so that they can enjoy not just being out on the water, but they can pull into a marina and have a nice meal at one of their marina restaurants or do whatever they're doing. So, and you're protecting them with those protective products. So, set those targets and set them appropriately. And that is 7.5% to 10% on amount financed, and sell those back end products 60 to 70% of the time. And that's going to make.
I'm interested to hear your opinion, because I've heard this from dealers before when it comes to extended warranty specifically. And I'll tell you that my wife is somebody that's very risk averse, and she is a warranty person. If she's offered a warranty, she'll say yes. Yep. What I've heard from dealers, from principals is, you know what, Matt, if I don't know that the warranty is going to truly stand behind it and not try to get out and weasel clauses and things like that, then I would be in. What's your opinion on that type of thing, and what the true coverage is based on? I know there's a lot of different ones out there, but based on the ones that you guys offer through Dealer Profit Services.
Well, so I mean, on the engine side of things, there's really, from our perspective, there's three big providers on the engine warranties, and that's Mercury for Mercury engines,
yep,
Yamaha for Yamaha engines, and then FPC for Mercury or Yamaha or any other engine. Those are three huge organizations. I mean, FPC is part of Protective, which is one of the largest insurance companies in the world, frankly. They stand 100% behind their warranty products, and their coverages are just outstanding. And Mercury and Yamaha, the same thing. I mean, there's nothing in it for them to disappoint a customer because of their warranty coverage.
Right, exactly.
So those coverages are just outstanding. And then, FPC goes further and offers what are called accessory packs. So there are a trophy fishing pack. They'll offer coverage on things inside the boat, on electronics, on depth finders, on gauges, and honestly, those coverages are great. I mean, I have never had a customer come back and tell me that they've been disappointed. Now, everybody can find a story of somebody who felt like it didn't work out for them, but that is so much the exception. That is so much the exception. And then, you take some of the other warranty coverages that are out there, or protective. There's a platinum, or it's called. It's an interior-exterior protective product, and on the exterior it keeps the boat from chalking or yellowing, guarantees you don't have to wax your boat for 5 years. On the interior, it's repair or replace to new, or to the condition that the boat was when you took it. And if you got a rip or a tear in a seat or a cigarette burn on a carpet, they're going to come out and they'll come to you, and it's actually serviced by a company like, I don't know, Surf Pro or somebody like that, and they'll come right to wherever your boat is. They'll take care of it, and you're good to go. Those are the kind of things you just don't even have to think about it. And the tire and road hazard products. I mean, nobody really thinks about this, but if you bump a curb or something, and then you drive 20 miles, and now all of a sudden your tire on your trailer is flat. How many people carry a jack for their trailer? I mean, it's just not something that the average person thinks about, right?
Yeah.
So
especially today. 30 years ago, maybe, but today, boaters have changed significantly in their what do you want to call it? I say skill level, but in their preparedness. We'll call it that, preparedness.
Yeah. No, they absolutely have. So. And then the other coverage, which isn't really in the same line, is the GAP or GAP waiver, which is what protects the person who's financing against if the boat is totaled. The odds are that the second you drove the boat off the lot, the value that the insurance company is going to pay is now well below the amount that you owe on your loan. And GAP protects against that if your boat is totaled. So they're going to take care of that. So you don't have to come out of pocket for $2,000 or $3,000 because your boat was totaled and you were underwater, so to speak, on your loan. So those are all those are high value, low risk coverages. I just don't. I personally would stand by them completely. And I've had some conversations with some other suppliers of product that I felt less good about, and we just haven't taken them on.
Right.
So,
and that's why I asked the question, is because I think there is a fear of selling something that now your service department has a upset customer. Hey, I spent $1,500 on this extended warranty, $3,000 on this warranty, and now you're telling me it's not, we're not going to do it. And that's why I asked, because I knew you vetted these companies. It wasn't just, oh, this is the one we can make the most money on. So
no.
Let's offer that. You and I, neither you nor I have that attitude of, oh, this is the biggest profit maker, let's do that. It's, no, this is the right thing that's going to make our dealers the most profit, so that long term we can have a relationship for 20 years type of thing.
Right. Well, because we want the dealer to be with us. We want customers to come back and want to work with us again. I mean, it's like I said with Mercury and Yamaha. There's nothing in it for us to be engaged in something that's going to just end up upsetting people, either on the dealer or the consumer side. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, there might be a way that we could find something that would help us line our pockets for a year, but then we're going to be looking for work for 10. So we'd rather
exactly. Yeah, the reputation in this industry is easy to destroy, tough to build, easy to destroy for sure.
Exactly.
So there's tremendous opportunity there just by offering for the people that aren't offering it at all. And it can even go salesman by salesman or salesperson by salesperson, right? The dealership can say, yeah, we got it. One person gravitates towards it and offers it to everybody. And the other says, these warranties are crap. It's a waste of money. And they never offer it. So there's opportunities in all facets of it, correct?
There are. Now you just said something there that's a little bit interesting, because there's a couple of philosophies that I've seen. One is that it is the salesperson's responsibility to handle the whole transaction. And so it's up to the salesperson to do the warranties and even handle the financing piece. And the other is that, you actually have an F&I department with an F&I manager, and every salesperson, and there's a set of props and keys, and there's a set of scripts that salespeople can use to tee up conversations. But what you have is somebody who's a professional in finance who understands the products. And when the customer gets to that point in the transaction, that person or set of people is responsible to handle the rest of it. And if that's the case, if you've got one person in there who's selling this stuff and one person in there who's not, then you've got one person too many in there, or you've got the wrong person in there. But that also begs a question that we are now beginning to help address, which is, especially depending on geography, the boating marketplace in the United States is pretty seasonal.
Sure.
And that's one of the mitigating factors when it comes to dealerships wanting to deal in F&I, because they recognize that there's enough going on that's different enough and specialized enough, and there's skill sets and there's compliance knowledge and there's a whole bunch of things that go on, that they probably need one person or more who's dedicated. And during their peak season, they probably could keep 2 or 3 people busy. But during the off season, they've got one person who has plenty of time to put their feet up and contemplate their navel, because they're just not doing anything. And at Dealer Profit, one of the things that we're beginning to address, and we'll be stepping into this in a much bigger way over the next weeks, is helping dealerships actually right size their department. One of the traditional issues that outsourced financial service providers have faced is it's kind of an all or nothing. It's been kind of an all or nothing proposition. You either, as a dealership, use a company or you don't. But it's been hard to take advantage of, my guy's out, can you handle deals for a while? Or we're busy now, can you step in and take X number of our deals or X deals? And then, when we're not busy, then we'll do something else. And we're now, with some technology solutions, beginning to address this, what I'm calling fractional F&I capability, and help a dealership maintain their own professional F&I department without having to overstaff or lay off or do those other things. And I think, that's one of the things that has put dealerships off, is that they have an expense and they have a liability, and it's variable. And we help them get that to be a fixed expense.
Yeah, that's a huge issue in the industry overall. Like every department, whether it's marketing, hey, we've got somebody and they can handle it during the busy season, but we really don't have that much to do for them in the off season. Dock hands, yard hands, salespeople, and F&I is the same thing. It's that how do we plan out our business for the busy times that happen from, February to July. And then what do we do after that? We don't want to lay people off. So you address that directly.
Yeah, we do. We are addressing that directly at this point. Now, we're happy to be the full, and by using us as a full service provider, of course, now your cost is, because we agree on a percentage of the profit, and that's 100% of your F&I cost. Whatever that agreed percentage is, you'll never pay more than that. It doesn't matter whether you're busy or whether you're slow. If you sell nothing in December, then your F&I cost for December is exactly zero.
Right.
And so that's clearly a benefit. But there's other people who really want to feel like they have more control and just want to be able to right size their department as needed, and we offer that as well. So I think it's a best of both worlds situation.
Yeah, it really does. It fits for every client, and there's certainly ones that will have that overflow in the real busy times. And there's also something you mentioned as we talked in kind of I call the green room beforehand, that there's times when your F&I person goes on vacation. They're out. They're sick.
They're sick.
And your technology allows you to handle that in some way.
We do. We have, and this is in beta now. It'll be coming out, like I said, over the next few weeks. But we actually offer a technology that can be licensed by the dealer, installed at the dealer site. It's an end-to-end F&I solution, and it's what their finance department will use to handle everything from app in to contracts generated. But what it also allows is they can authorize anybody to essentially log in to their portal, and it looks just like that person is right there with them. They can offer the same set of tools, the same set of solutions. They've got access to all of the same lenders, all of the same products that dealership has. And so it's absolutely seamless. You just log in, handle some transactions, and log back out. And so that absolutely addresses that technology allows us to seamlessly address this overflow or out sick or gotten an accident situation.
Yeah, just any oddball situation or planned situation that comes up, you've got that flexibility. Now, I owned a mortgage company before I got into the finance world. If you read my book, you know that story. So licensing, is there any issue with licensing? Is it state by state with who has access to that?
No,
okay.
There's not. I mean, for the software license, it's just. I mean, fundamentally, it's just software. The only things that where there's any kind of regulatory or compliance or licensing issues, we don't work, and I don't know anybody who really does in Alaska, and we're highly limited in Hawaii. But beyond that, if you're in the 48 contiguous states, then there are no issues at all. Now, if you're doing your F&I in-house, your compliance burden is definitely higher than outsourcing. I mean, when we handle 100%, all the compliance issues fundamentally are on us. Now, if the dealer elects to keep a copy of applications and other paperwork on premise, then they have the obligation of having locked filing cabinets and making sure that their personal information is protected. But still, the burden of being suitable to do bureau pulls and all that other stuff falls on us. When a dealer elects to take that in-house, now they're bound by all the red flags rules, all the compliance issues. They're bound by all of the OFAC check requirements. And if we're doing it, we handle that. If the dealer wants to do it in-house, they're responsible for that. But our solution helps make that possible.
Right. So they take more of the profit, but they also then take more of the risk in that scenario.
That's right.
So talk to me about, all right, so I'll give you an example. The training that you do for MRAA, or that you will be doing and are doing, I'm going to try to tap into that a little bit. So I've got a finance, I do some finance in my dealership. We do some of it in-house, and we're looking to grow. What are the top 3 things I could do different, better, start doing, stop doing, that would help me be more successful?
So, interestingly enough, the first thing to do to be more successful is institute an absolute 100% turnover policy. And what that means is 100% of people who come in to buy a boat see, and I don't like the term finance manager, delivery manager, delivery coordinator is a much more user-friendly term, but they serve the function of the finance manager. But after a salesperson has worked with this customer and they've looked around and they've decided what they want, 100% of those customers are going to see the delivery coordinator. And I don't care if they're pulling a wad of cash out of their pocket or they've got their check mostly written, because here's the reality. A cash buyer, 80% of cash buyers are not using liquid cash. They've gone someplace and arranged a loan. They've tapped into their home equity line. They're selling stocks or bonds. So the first thing that you want to have somebody do is say, look, you're going to pay cash. Obviously, you have terrific credit. Why don't we at least take a look at what your options might be? And, maybe you can retain some of your cash and enjoy your time on the lake a little bit more with a little bit more cash in your pocket. Now, that'll only work 10 or 15% of the time, but it's still a worthwhile conversation. But it also leads to the next conversation, and that is both from a profitability and from a liability standpoint. 100% of customers need to at least hear about 100% of the available protective products. It's 100% of customers, 100% of the products, 100% of the time. And if that's not happening, first of all, you're leaving money on the table. And secondly, you're exposing yourself to some real liability. So it's absolutely critical. And a great tool for that, and something that we provide automatically, is what's called in the industry, it's assigned to decline. And from a customer perspective, it's called an optional protective product disclosure form. And the customer literally will sign this when they're taking delivery on their boat. And it says, I've been told about the following products. I've elected to accept these products, and I've elected to decline these products. And there's 2 things that does. The first thing is it lets a customer, it gives the dealer one more bite of the apple. And
right.
The customer may look at that and say, oh gosh, you know what? Maybe I should hear more about this accessory protection or whatever it is. But the second thing is, once the customer has signed that form, there's no coming back after the engine conks out in his 3rd year, and can't come back and say, you never told me that I could get protection about that, because, oh, yes, I did. And here it is. We talked about it. You signed it. Because if you haven't done that, the odds are that the dealer is going to eat the expense of those repairs at a minimum. And if there's a pattern of that, and the pattern is actually cash buyers don't get told about the same things that finance buyers get told about. If it's a persistent pattern and somebody's clever or somebody's a lawyer, there could be a class action lawsuit and say you're discriminating against cash buyers by not offering them the right set of protections. And a class action lawsuit can be a pretty expensive hobby. It's not something that you really want to get.
You don't want to get involved in that. I'm guessing. I've never been, but so that's number one. It's a risk reduction of risk for the dealership, but also go ahead.
No, so number one is 100% turnover. Every buyer gets the delivery coordinator. Number two is 100% of products to 100% of the people, 100% of the time. And then the number three thing is, and this is the hard one, and I think this is where actually an outside provider has a little bit of an advantage. When the sales guy is lurking around, there's pressure on the finance person to say, well, I don't want to be the one to throw sand in the gears here. And so I'm going to offer a little bit lower contract rate than I absolutely could. And I'm not going to charge as much for these products as I could because I just want to get this deal done. And it's absolutely imperative to be dispassionate about that, because you're never going to get more than what you ask for the first time. And frankly, it's easy to employ an approach that I call aggressive but graceful in retreat. It's easy to come in and say, well, congratulations, I'm really excited. And you're going to be able to get this and start having fun. Your payment's going to be $299 a month, and that includes your Mercury 8-year extended engine protection and your interior and exterior product. If the customer pushes back on that, then you can start saying, well, let me explore with a couple of other lenders and see what we can do. And you can start backing away from that number. But if you come in and say, well, congratulations, you can get this for $249 a month. But if you want these protections and you want this other stuff, now your payment's going to be $279 a month. That's a much harder sale than backing down. So you've got to put your finance people in a position where they can be aggressive and they're trained to be graceful in retreat. Because that's the way you maximize your profits.
Well, it's exactly. I mean, that leads right into the things that we do. I've got a matter of fact, I spoke in Germany at a dealer meeting right before the 4th of July, on the 2nd of July, and we talked about $1 messages and $100 messages. And what you just gave was a $100 message. It's a message that when you actually think about it beforehand and here's what we're going to do. We're going to structure the deal like this, so there's some strategy with it. We're going to say these types of words, and then we know if they have an objection, then this is our next step. And you've planned it all out with good, solid $100 words versus what I call $1 messages or $1 words, which are just not as effective or impactful. I love that strategy. It's very cool.
Yeah, no, and by the way, it works, because I've seen it. I've seen it happen again and again and again, and I've seen people increase their profit by 50 or 75 or even 100% just by aggressive but graceful in retreat. And when I say aggressive, I'm not saying angrily aggressive. I'm saying pleasantly aggressive. It's I'm offering you a fantastic deal, and here it is. Now, if you don't like my fantastic deal, we can do some things, and we'll still help you out. We're going to make this happen, but the best deal you're going to get is this one.
Yeah, it's going in with the approach of you're there to make money and you are delivering the value more value than what you're charging. And it's almost a mindset issue that you have to get over the fact that you don't have to give things away to be successful and to do right by your customer. Actually, the best way to do right by your customer is to provide the most value. And sometimes that means you have to charge them higher prices. To charge them higher prices, you can deliver more value, just the way it works.
That's right. And again, this goes back to something that I really harp on, and that's remember that you're not selling them a boat and a warranty. You're selling them a lifestyle. You're selling them a way to enjoy themselves. And you know what? I mean, if that way to enjoy yourself it is maximized at $299 a month instead of $249 a month, well, that's terrific. I mean,
right.
What you've done is just, I mean, that extra enjoyment is actually priceless.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you have to keep in mind all the time.
Yeah.
and again, it's not like buying a car, right? I mean, because nobody has to buy a boat. People are buying boats because they want to they want to do things. They're looking to have fun, and whatever that is, whether that fun is sitting someplace throwing a line into the water, or whether it's wakeboarding, or whether it's taking the family out and cruising around on a fantastic Bennington, whatever it is. They want to enjoy that, and you want to maximize their ability to enjoy that.
Yeah, I think that mindset might be one of the greatest profit enhancers in every dealership out there. If you can get your staff that's in any sales role, whether it be service, whether it be F&I, whether it be your sales team, whether it be your storage, that if you can get their mindset to change from we have to be the cheapest because if we're not the cheapest, then we're screwing our customers, and you change that to we have to provide the most value regardless of what it costs and deliver more value than the money they give us, that right there will dramatically change the profits of the overall dealership. So I think that's a great place to end right there. But I'm gonna ask you one last question. Is there anything I missed that we should have talked about that we didn't? But I love that concept that you gave on that last one, Myril. That is spot on advice for everybody in almost all sales situations.
Yeah, no, I think once you've hit your high note, I think it's time to
go like Seinfeld, go out on top. Yeah, go out on top. Oh, that was a great episode.
I don't intend to enter into the first row of holes here, which when you're in one, stop digging. I think that is the message, and that's going to maximize profit. That's going to be good for everybody, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, Myril, it's been a lot of fun to have you on again. I know you'll be down at Dealer Week. I know you're going to be going on the road. Speaking at some 20 groups over the next several months. So good luck with all that, and we'll see you down in at Dealer Week in Tampa. How can people get in touch with you? How can people find out more about Dealer Profit Services?
Just drop me an email. It's Myril, Myril, at dealerprofit.com. Or go to our website, which is just dealerprofit.com.
Perfect. Well, I will link those in the show notes so that if you don't have a pen, if you're driving in your car listening, just go check out the show notes on the website, and you can link right to them. It's been great to have you again, and we'll be talking to you real soon.
Well, it's been great being on again, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, Matt.
Wow, what another great episode of the Boat Dealer Profits podcast. I want to thank Myril for joining us and being our second time guest. It was a great opportunity to catch up. And Myril will be at the Elevate Summit as well as the MRAA's Dealer Week, so you can look for him and I down there. You can also pick up a free copy of our latest, our most popular report, 11 Ways to Sell More Boats. You can grab that at boatdealerprofits.com/11 ways. And you can also check out our new on-demand video training. It is the new way to sell more boats, make more money, and have more fun. Everybody knows that the industry is changing. Consumers are changing. Technology is changing. and we discussed the new way to sell more boats, make more money, and have more fun. It is a great opportunity, 100% free. You can go to boatdealerprofits.com/new way, all one word, no spaces, no dashes, just NEWWAY, and that will take you to all the information you need there. So check that out, and I look forward to talking to you soon and talking to you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.